Hi, everybody. This particular video is going to be a short video. I would like to teach you how to search for articles using EBSCO host. So I'm going to share my screen. Give me 1 second. And what I'm going to do, the goal is to take you through EBSCO host, allow you to understand the various functions of EBSCO host, and we'll go from there. All right, so hold on. So it says I'm sharing my screen, but I don't see it. So one more time. Let's do it again. All right, so when you log into your library account and you click Academic Search Complete, you will be put on a main page that looks like this. And at the top of it, it will tell you which database you're searching. I always tell students that I'm working with, be greedy. Don't just search one database, because you never know what's going to be in a database that you may not think is there. So the first thing I tell students to do is to choose databases, and then it'll give you a list of all the databases that your university is linked to. So I tell students to click Select All. Now you have everything checked. And now I'm going to click OK. And once I do that, instead of just having Academic Search Complete, I want to show you, when I expand it, it lists on the top here every single database we're searching. So the next thing I want to bring you down to is where you have your search terms. Now, you could search many different things, so I'm going to just open up the field for the time being. When searching, you could search for a word in the whole text. You could search a key author if you know an author. You could search a specific title, source, abstract, and so forth. Selecting a field is optional unless you know exactly where you're looking and who you're looking for. I encourage you to keep that off. Keep it as an optional field and don't limit your search. On the left-hand side, we have our Boolean operators. Now, when you use the Boolean operator AND or AND, that requires a search to find an article that includes all the words that you have AND linked. So in other words, if you were searching for a particular article and you said migraines and hallucinations, whatever article you search for, it must have migraines in the article somewhere, and it must have the word hallucinations in the article. Now, there are some times where there are synonyms, and you're not really sure which word is going to find the article that you are looking for. So instead of using the word and, you use or. The Boolean operator or expands your search. So in general, if you use the Boolean operator or, you're going to get more articles than if you use the Boolean operator and. Now, there is a third one. I'm going to go back down. So we talked about and, we talked about or. There's also a Boolean operator not. Now, when you think of hallucinations, let me ask you a question. Is the first thing that comes to mind migraines? The visual disturbances? Probably not. You probably, when you think hallucinations, think of a psychotic disorder. Or you might think of some drug-induced hallucinations. But migraines would not be your top choice. But if you're doing migraine research and you put in the word hallucinations, you're going to get a lot of articles that are not relevant to your topic. So the Boolean operator not allows you to exclude articles and topics that are not relevant to what you're looking for. So that is in a brief nutshell, your Boolean operators. Now we're going to come back to this and I'm going to do some demos in search, but I want to introduce you to the rest of your search options. So I'm going to scroll down and you can be very specific about what you're looking for, right? So I always encourage my students to click full text and scholarly, because if you're doing a research study or a paper for your class, you don't want to get opinion pieces. You don't want to get articles that are not based on research. So when you click scholarly, it limits the sources to referee journals, book chapters, and books. And the other thing that I said you should click is full text. I can't tell you how many times students come to me and they are frustrated. And they're frustrated because, you know, they found the perfect article, but we don't have access to it in our library. So then we have to do a special interlibrary loan request, and it could take weeks to months to get it, and they need that article right now. And sometimes we don't even get the article. So clicking full text will guarantee the article you want is going to be available or accessible to you. So that when you limit your search to full text, you know you're going to have access to the article with your university's library. And when you click scholarly, you know that it's going to be a good source. Now, we also, if we scroll down, we have the option to limit the publication date. And each discipline, the speed of science might be quicker or slower. In psychology, in general, most professors will allow you to use articles anywhere between 7 to 10 years old, and there's a specific database that allows you to search for articles within the last 3 years. But there are disciplines where science moves faster than psychology. For example, if you are in biology and genetics research, there are articles that come out weekly in some publications that could be relevant. So I encourage you to consult with your professor about which year range would be acceptable. Now, does that mean that every single article you use or every single source you use has to be within the last 3 or 7 or 10 years, depending on what is established? The answer is no. There are theoretical pieces that we use as foundational research. So if there's a classic theory that is relevant to your research study, you might use that in addition to your new research. For example, I did a study on religion and spirituality with one of my students that we got published. And we took the reader on a journey all the way back to William James to the present. So we cited core research, both within the realm of philosophy as well as psychology. And then we cited more contemporary research. So this is important when you want to know if you're talking about the latest and the most up-to-date research, you want to limit your publication dates. Now, as we scroll down, I usually don't mess with this, but you can select the publication type. The default for the publication type is all. And that's why I said you could select referee journals, because notice how a newspaper or a periodical, if you don't select referee journal or peer-reviewed journals, you might get a newspaper clipping about the topic, which is not necessarily scientifically sound. So just be mindful of that. And I'll scroll down. Again, I talked to you about the various limitations. So I think now we're ready to do a search. Let's say I wanted to study I don't know, religion and mental health. Religion and mental health, right? So, I do some research in this area, and let's say I was kind of curious whether there was something new that came out that's relevant. So I'm going to click search. So in the articles that emerge from this search, we see 7,798 articles. That is great. That's wonderful. But I don't know if I'm going to want to go through 7,000 articles to find what I'm looking for. So maybe I need to reconsider the search term mental health. So, gee, well, is there a specific disorder that I might be interested in looking at? Let's say I was interested in looking at depression as a specific mental health concern. So now I click search. Now remember, there were 7,798 articles. When I add that additional search term, notice it drops to 1,000. So the more specific you are, and using the Boolean operator AND, A-N-D, it's going to reduce the number of articles that you come across. So the more specific you are in your search, the more likely you are going to find articles that are relevant to your topic. So now I've eliminated 6,000 articles that might be tangentially related to my topic, but not specific enough. So let's go back to our previous search that we had. And we had religion and mental health as our search term. So now I'm going to move mental health to the third option. And instead of doing religion and mental health, I'm going to do religion or religious, right? Now, let's see what happens when we do religion or religious and mental health. Let's see what happens. So it's interesting. I said the Boolean operator or will expand your search. So because we originally had religion and mental health, that only yielded 7,000 roughly, or almost 8,000 articles. But when I use the Boolean operator or, notice there are more articles that come up. It expands your search, or expands your search and limits your search. So religion, let's do religion and mental health. I'm going to move mental health back up, but this time I'm going to use the Boolean operator not, right? And I said not is going to exclude sources. So by default, it's going to reduce the amount of articles you get. So I'm going to do not Christianity. Right? So let's see what happens. Again, our original search had 7,000. Let's see what happens when we use not Christianity. It should be, okay. So it didn't drop that much, but if we had 7,700 articles, by saying not Christianity, it dropped it to 7,092. Not a big drop, but nevertheless, it still excludes topics related to Christianity. So that is a quick demo on using EBSCO host, how to be more specific about the sources you're looking for, how to use the Boolean operators. I would like to show you a couple things as well. So let's go back to our original search. Right, our original search was religion and mental health. Let's see what we get. right? So we go back to our original 7,798 sources. There is another Boolean strategy that's not listed in the drop-down caret. There is the asterisk, which is a wild card. Now, when you use an asterisk, it allows you to complete that word with any other suffix. So we originally started with the word religion, but can you think of other words? Things like religion, religious, religiousness, religions, religiosity, all of these are going to be found. So by using this asterisk, it tells the search engine that I want all words that start with relig. And let's see. Now, I anticipate that we're going to have more articles than 7,798. Let's see what happens. That's right. There it is. So we have 11,000 articles now. So it's really cool when you know how to use the search engine. You can be very specific. You can find exactly what you're looking for. And there are many strategies to help you along. Now, right now, we have 11,000 articles based on this current search. Remember what I said about your professor. Let's say your professor said all of your articles must be within the last 10 years, which is what I tell my students. So I'm going to make it from 2011 to 2021. And then I'm going to refine the search, and it's going to update it. So we started with 11,000 articles. Now we're down to 7,000 articles within the last 10 years. What if your professor was like, no, that's too wide of a range. You're still not capturing the current state of research. I only want you to have the last 7 years. So you might do 2014 to 2021, and let's see what happens. Now you're down to 5,000 articles. Let's say your professor's like, no, I only want the last 3 years. So I want the most contemporary research that's out there, 2018 to 2021. Let's see what happens now. Now you're down to 2,000 articles. So we started with 11,000 articles that went from 1920 roughly to the present, so 100 years of research. And then we shrunk it down to the most recent research on the topic. So that's another thing that I wanted you to know, is that you can specify the publication dates, and that will help you along. I think that this is a really good primer. So I'm going to stop my screen share now and stop the video. I hope that this helps you when you're doing your database searches. Take care, everyone.